Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jane Alabama, and today we are continuing vampires. Might as well just get that laws out of the way. Just because, I'm not ready for you to talk about him. I don't think he's a bad person. He's a little much. Let me put it that way. He's a little much all at once. I'm starting to look at churches differently since your last encounter with Benoit. You're not sure what happened inside, but it was unavoidably real. You felt it. When Benoit mentioned that being in the presence of Father Anthony's faith would eventually kill someone like you. Wait, when did he mention that? Oh, I guess there was a dialogue option in this, but yeah, when did he? I don't believe he mentioned that. Spoke with him. An undead being? You believed him. It doesn't seem to be very common, though. In New York, you pass thousands of people every night, and none of them have made you feel so afraid and insignificant. If you were to encounter someone like Father Anthony in the subway or nightclub, you would know. There are many churches in the 5 boroughs, and you're pretty sure most of them don't contain someone whose faith can touch you in this way. Yet, you've become wary. They just might. Still, tonight the cathedral looks as before, a striking landmark acting as a symbol of faith for people who have no idea that vampires exist in their midst. For them, questions of faith and myth are theoretical or philosophical. For you, those same questions suddenly define the meaning of your new existence. You sneak into the cathedral like an old hand, as if going to church had been a regular part of your life. Inside, the cathedral is almost deserted. You're not sure if you'll be meeting Benoit alone. The idea of feeling Father Anthony's faith on your undead flesh freezes you with terror. Benoit is waiting for you in the front pews of the cathedral in the exact same spot where you saw Father Anthony. Worried, you approach, but you don't feel a touch of faith that shook you before. Benoit nods as you sit next to him in the pew. Aren't you worried? I have so many questions. Many kindred wonder what we are. I'm gonna ask if he's worried. I don't want to. I kind of feel that the other two, he's gonna go into a big, long spiel. Aren't you worried about meeting here? What if your friend the priest returns? Don't worry, he's not here tonight. You've had time to think. You've had some time to think. I'm guessing you found the touch of Father Anthony's faith hard to ignore. For most people, God's presence is a question of faith. When I talk with Father Anthony, it feels like proof. Benoit is fervent, intense as he speaks. It's clear these questions have consumed his existence. Perhaps they'll consume yours too. I can't stop thinking about divine. What purpose this is kindred culture? What does the Camarilla believe? I'm going to ask what kindred culture is, because I wonder what he has to say. Even if we don't believe, this is kindred culture. Our shared stories about where we came from, right? That's one way to look at it. All religions can be reduced to cultural myths if you're so inclined. Personally, I think the reality of our condition proves that this is more than myth. Benoit looks around reflexively to make sure nobody is listening. There are only a few people in the enormous cathedral, and they don't seem to be interested in the 2 loners murmuring to each other in the front pew. It might seem like ancient history, things that happened thousands of years ago, but time works differently for our kind. If the stories are true, there are Methuselahs still in existence, who walked the earth when Jesus was alive. The only problem is that old vampires lie. They adjust history to suit their egos. talked to different elders, surely something was written down that's for something people can verify. Well, yeah, yeah, people can write things down. That doesn't mean something's written down is the truth. Let's focus on people we can verify. I wonder what they mean by you can talk to different elders. Let me ask that. Perhaps if you talk to a few different elders, they're not very forthcoming, unfortunately. We're left to piece these stories together on our own. This is how the story goes. God cursed Cain as punishment for the murder of Abel. Cain walked the night, shunned by humanity, and drank blood to sustain himself. Even from the point of our origin, we are damned. However, the story becomes really interesting when we move forward. Cain creates more of our kind, often referred to as the second generation. They lived in the first city, later called Enoch, ruling openly over the city's human inhabitants. I see the first city as Cain's redemption. Cursed by God to wander, he remade himself as a ruler and lawgiver, acting as an immortal shepherd to humanity. Because I want to be a vampire someday. Well, I don't know. Here, I guess it depends on which kind of vampire, because here, there's some kind of setbacks to being vampires as well. So I guess it depends on which kind of version. Do you want this one, or do you want the vampire, or do you want, like, Dracula? It only started to go wrong when the second generation begat the third, and vampires started to run amok. So the third generation, what happened to the first city? Vampires ruled openly over humans. I'm going to ask what happened to the first city because I feel like that's going to answer both of those questions. The kind that is beautiful and sexy and sparkles like diamonds. Ew! Like a Twilight vampire? No! What happened to the first city? It was lost in the deluge. Noah had his ark to save him, but our kind had to rely on our gifts of blood. I will say that Edward is big. I will say if I had to become a vampire in this sort of world, I'd probably want to be a toreador because that's probably the closest thing to like a sexy vampire that still maintains some semblance of humanity. If you're skeptical about... Wait, so they're saying Noah's Ark is real. Yeah, they're saying, yeah, so in vampire culture, Cain was the very first vampire, like Cain and Abel were the first vampires. So they're saying that all that's real. If you're skeptical about this piece of history, remember that even a local flood can bring massive destruction. After the first city, Cain largely departs the story. Perhaps he was disheartened by the depredations of his descendants. The antediluvians went on to build a second city, in imitation of the first, but it's doubtful their rule is just. So did he eat his brother instead of kill him? No. So what happened was Cain was cursed, and he was shunned by humanity, so he began to drink blood to sustain himself instead. There are people moving in the cathedral, and both you and Benoit have made sure none get close enough to hear you talk. How? Many of the people you've seen have been elderly or disabled, so it's not surprising that you hear the squeak of a wheelchair. What alarms you more is that you overhear an older woman speaking with a Russian accent mention Father Anthony. Let's find Father Anthony and see if he can help us. From what I've heard, he's an exceptional man. You turn to look and see two men and a woman. All three are in their 50s, clearly well worn by life. One of the men pushes the woman in a wheelchair. She's dark-haired and intense, seemingly only half of this world. Yeah, exceptional, but he doesn't like molds. The speaker is shorter of the men, more animated and worried. He is probably a strong man in his youth, perhaps even an athlete. His voice carries a Midwestern accent. See, she doesn't look like she's in her 50s. but maybe she's just taking good care of herself, I don't know. We're only interested in whether he likes blank bodies. You and Benoit look at each other. This is bad news. Whoever these three are, they can't be good for you. We need to get out. Let's meet outside. Walk out right past the mortals, move discreetly to the side. Oh, well, move discreetly. Don't go right into it. Better not to call attention to yourself. You decide to move to the side of the cathedral and pretend to pray at an altar. You walk casually towards the side, away from the three approaching mortals. You feel their eyes boring into your back, but you force yourself to be cool. Benoit is nowhere to be seen. Oh, yeah, nice. Nice. Just leave us. You blinked and he disappeared in a burst of speed. You're worried it was too conspicuous, but maybe the mortals missed it. You pretend to admire the architecture for a while before glancing back at the trio. They have settled at the exact spot you just occupied, apparently waiting for something and conversing in hushed tones. Once you're sure their attention is elsewhere, you start walking briskly down the side aisle toward the exit. That was a close call. Yeah, no thanks to you. Who are those three? Fuck you, Benoit. You are quite fast. I'm not gonna tell him to go fuck himself as much as I do want to say that. I'm not gonna compliment them. I'm gonna ask who those three were. Who were those three? Did you recognize them? I might have. I'm not sure. There's talk of a few tenacious vampire hunters living in the city. One of them is supposed to be a woman in a wheelchair. One day I'd like you to take the dark road. For a second, Benoit looks at you as if he was wondering whether he should say something. Like and subscribe, peeps. Yep. There's one thing I've always wondered about the story of Cain. The traditions of the Camarilla put a lot of faith in the relationship between sire and child. You're supposed to follow the example of your maker. Yet Cain didn't really seem to care for the vampires he embraced. Did he think it was a mistake to create our kind? My sire left me, we should make our own way in the world. Do kindred care what Cain thinks? I'm torn between the first and the second one. What do you think, Andre? We still don't know our sire. No. No, we don't. We've been unable to find him. He's left the city, apparently. One? Okay. My sire left me. Is that common among the kindred? Yes, unfortunately. The kindred are selfish and cruel. Yeah, because Benoit's... Okay, like I said in another video, Sophie is Benoit's sire, and she abandoned him. Because, she embraced him because he was this artist, and she really liked his art. And he was a tortured artist, because I guess that's something that she is more drawn to. But the longer he lived, the less tortured his art became, because his perspectives started to change, so she abandoned him. You know, I'm Sophie's child. Yeah, there we go. You know, I'm Sophie's child, and you're her protege. It's amazing that we share an appreciation for the mythologies of our kind, considering Sophie has little interest in questions of the spirit. That's not nice to abandon, no. You stare at Benoit. You knew there was something he wasn't telling you, but in all the talk about Cain in the first city, you forgot about it. Now the only question is, what does this mean? Homie Probs has abandonment issues now. Does Sophie know her child is talking to you? Yeah, that's probably why, you know, he's into the whole religious stuff and he's got the drawn out stuff. So I really shouldn't be mean to him because, you know, this is just, he was embraced for that reason, and he was embraced by Sophie, who, like, stares off into the sunset and she just gets completely bleary-eyed. Probably not. Don't hold it against me, but I admit finding some pleasure in seeing you suffer the effects of Father Anthony's faith. I suppose that's the demon in me. I mean, at least he's honest. That's not cool. I'm not your enemy. I'm gonna say I'm not your enemy. Too abandoned, beautiful love story. No, I don't like Ben. I mean, he's fine. But, I mean, he just goes off on these long-ass tangents, but... I understand that you're bitter, Benoit. I'm not your enemy. I'm sorry, I know that. It's just that sometimes I get too tempted by sin. He's too picky. I am picky. You know, we should meet again. We've talked so much about myth, but maybe that's cowardly when the reality of faith is right in front of us. I'll introduce you to Father Anthony. Why? Why? Good to be picky rather than settle. Yeah. Why are we being introduced to the priest that nearly killed us? Unintentionally? The priest didn't try to kill us, but... You nod, unsure whether that's a good idea. Benoit walks away and you follow his example, not wanting to hang around the cathedral any longer. Alright, night 11. Okay, so again, we did Agathon's second bit and then D'Angelo's as well. So let's go ahead and see Hope again. Why can cathedrals kill vampires? So it's not the cathedral, it's just someone whose faith is incredibly strong that has a physical effect on the vampire. It doesn't have to be a priest, but in this case it was a priest. When you get to the Internet Cafe, Hope is already waiting out front. The sight catches you off guard. A part of you suspected that she might be more of a shut-in. My haven is my castle type. At Schumacher 2002. Perfect timing. We need to go for a ride. Get in! She doesn't wait for your response and jumps behind the wheel of a lavender vintage roadster instead. I like the name Hope. She looks badass. Yes, she is a badass. And jumps behind the wheel of a lavender... Oh, Andre, you missed this, but yeah, we got her to be our friend because she asked us to moderate her cam show. That was very interesting, but you know what? I can't... when you're up front like that about who you are, you can't be mad at that. You really can't. You gotta respect that. That's beautiful. She doesn't wait for your response and jumps behind the wheel of a lavender vintage roadster instead. The engine starts roaring, especially causing everyone's heads to turn. Not wanting to attract Nico's attention, you quickly slip into the backseat of the car. The moment you shut the door behind you, the vehicle sets off, tires screeching. Oh! I love it. Finally, a different car animation. You know what? They just copied, Agathon's copied Kadir's animation, so now I love this. This is something new and different. At 0 to 100 real quick. Sorry for not bringing up to speed first, but hey, this is NYC. Everyone's always in a rush. This is even more true when you're kindred. That's going to say this is familiar with Cooper, yeah. At Bussywork, allow me to take care of some business and I'll be right with you. Even though she's zooming through traffic, she's still on her phone, of course. Nice car, watch the road. Please, what's your business? I'm not going to tell her to watch the road. She's actually pretty good at multitasking, as we've established in the last one. So I'm going to see. I really hope that we don't mean nice car as in a snarky way. So I'll say nice car. Cam girls tend to be pretty damn talented. Yeah, that's true. Nice car. How can you afford that? At vroom vroom beep beep. Thank you. The lavender really brings out its character, doesn't it? At Bussywork. About affording things in the city, it's pretty hard. You gotta be at the top of your game at all times. Might as well explain my business plan to you while I'm at it. So, another extremely online mob based in New York goes by the name of Dev Null told me to Google Ethereum a few years ago. That's how I got into Bitcoin. And I found a new religion. 23-year-olds selling visions of governments replaced by benign code and decentralized consensus. Masses ruled out by algorithms as just as laws of physics. Idiot man-child investors trying to shape their realities through sheer fanatical zeal and dedicated collectors of things as abstract as rare SHA 256 decryptions. Her driving style is far more aggressive and dangerous than you're comfortable with. Is it just you, or does she peek into the rearview mirror more often than she looks out straight ahead? You actually know SHA? Oh, yeah! Cryptotypography for the win, yeah! A hyper-speculative environment where nothing has real value, only abstract beliefs matter, and your life savings can be ruined by a single bullshit tweet. How could I refuse the allure? I started buying low and selling high on a variety of shady 24/7 exchanges that allowed me with 100 times leverage, as in, they'd lend me 100 times the capital I could bet with. I got lucky at the beginning and kept the ball rolling, shorting and longing, impulsively, recklessly. I got to the point where I became too big to fail, and that's when I cashed out. The car comes to an abrupt halt. You bump up against the seat in front of you. So, yeah, Hope is probably completely loaded, is what she's saying. Okay, the story will be continued later. We're here, right at our first stop. I'll need you to do me a favor. Where? First, what favor first stop? Marry her. That would be fun. So, Andre, Hope is a Malkavian, and they're unique because most people would assume that they have some type of personality disorder, be it schizophrenia, dissociative identity disorder, that sort of thing. But their thing is that they actually have a very unique perspective on the world. Like, they may seem like they're nuts, but they actually have, there's a method to their madness. I'm going to say first stop just because, obviously we're doing a job with her just because we want her in our coterie, so I'll just say first stop, just to ask what else we're doing tonight. First stop? Everyone needs a little spontaneity in their life. Yeah, you know what? I like Hope as well, because she's fun, she's nuts, and these keep me on my toes, too. Yeah, I need to run a few errands tonight. This one is as simple as it gets. See that weird guy in a Yankees cap standing around the corner? Approach him. Tell him you're at young, hot, petite ingenue. Take the phone he gives you and bring it here. Get going, honey. It's illegal to park here. You jump out of the car and approach the man Hope has pointed out. Not a lot you can tell about him based on his appearance, aside from the fact that he seems pretty shady. What are we getting ourselves into? I have no idea. You know what? We were modding a cam show the other day, and it turned out that she was playing with the fact that she was openly violating the Masquerade, but then it turns out we weren't at all because she has, again, method to her madness. The guy assumes a comically threatening pose as you approach him. The hell do you want? I'm at young, hot, petite. I'm here for phone. I'm young, hot, and petite. I kind of want to say the third one. It looks like his mom hated him. I kind of want to say the third one just because that goes along with what Hope wants, but it's not as... Because some jobs that we do, it's good to be straightforward, but others, like with Hope, I've noticed it's kind of okay to take a little liberty, to a few liberties. Yeah, 3. Let's do it. I'm a young, hot, and petite ingenue who would do anything to get herself a lovely new smartphone. So could you stop being so rude and help me out here, pretty please? Yeah, I like that. And that sounds like something Hope would say, so, you know. Alright. Dope. Yep. He takes a phone out of his pocket and covertly passes it to you. Everything has been prepared and preloaded according to your instructions. It should take about 2 minutes to transfer the data. I wiped down that phone first. Yeah, maybe get like, you know, a little disinfectant wipe. And get out of here. The man walks away with an exaggerated hip-hop beat. You jump back into Hope's car. She immediately steps on the gas. Hashtag COVID. You got the phone? You're the best. Pass it to me, please. She connects the 2 smartphones using a cable and begins some sort of data transfer. Looks like it's an identical model. After a minute or so, the process is complete. I smell hacking. Oh, yeah. Alright, goodbye, lovely. You served me well. Hope opens the car window, grabs her old phone. You're not expert enough to recognize the exact model, but it definitely looks like it had an $800 price slapped on it and tosses it out the window. Surprised, you look behind you and see a car in the opposite lane run over the abandoned device. Hope notices your quizzical look. I've been eating a lot of burner phones lately, and I'm not going to use some cheap piece of shit, so it's a pretty expensive necessity. Intersection. Red light. She takes advantage of the moment to shoot a driving selfie that strategically excludes her face and upload it to Instagram. You notice her handle there is at Versace Beauty. Now I was telling you a story. Cashing out. Yeah, that's where she left off. It was cashing out. Is that her cam name? So Audrey, I don't know if you've noticed, but she uses a lot of different names when she's talking. That's because she has a lot of different online personalities. She referred to herself as a database rather than as a person. She's like a host for a bunch of different personalities is what she calls herself. Cashing out. Right. At some point toward the end of 2017, I became convinced that I needed to cash out. There was no way the bubble was going to last forever. I always knew there would be no grapes of wrath for the cryptocurrency era. It would have to be a series of profoundly antisocial, disconnected events. The whole crypto culture was a decentralized church of lone millennials who rejected all established modern values and kept atoning for the original sin of not buying Bitcoin back in 2013. Another abrupt last-second turn. You are pressed against the window. What the hell is with her driving style? Bet a life you never wanted to live anyway, and get a chance to win a priceless pile of nothing. Untether yourself from all worldly desires. Find joy in... I don't think I can say that out loud, but find joy in that. To this day, money holds no real value for me. It's as abstract as a video game score. A bunch of numbers on the screen. The joyless world changed me forever. I knew I had to escape. So I took my piles of fictional dollars to a new arena, elite NYC social circles. Not because I wanted to scam them and make more, but because I wanted to finally have some goddamn fun. I mean, of course I had to scam them in the process, but it was only in service of becoming something more than a star. A constellation. Another abrupt stop, this time next to the entrance of a shifty-looking back alley. All right, friend, this time you're at Leaky Gut Syndrome, whistleblower extraordinaire. Whenever a press sneak fuck once a week, you've got You've got it. Got it? Okay. Sorry for putting you out there in my place, but I only personally contact people as a last resort. It gets harder to protect my identity each time I show my face. I don't understand any of that. I think what she's saying is that leaky gut syndrome, which is one of her personalities, he is a whistleblower. And since I've got you, our man is waiting for you in this back alley. He's paying back a favor with a flash drive containing crucial information we need to stay safe in the city. Retrieve it. I will circle the area. Make sure we aren't in danger right now. When you're done, get back here and I'll pick you up. Everything clear? Good. You exit the car and see it drive away in a hurry, then head into the narrow passageway. Sure enough, there's a man waiting for you at the end of the back street. Unshaven, wearing wrinkled clothes, with a nervous eye tick. He looks even dodgier than the last guy you met. When you approach, he gives you a mean look. Oh, wait! That's one of Julia's friends in Shadows of New York. Cool. You lost or something? Okay, yeah, let's just be funny. Let's be funny again. Let's just do it. Looks better than the other guy. Yeah, I would agree so. I need help, friend, with my gut. What do I care? That's some kind of joke. It's leaking. Okay, so this isn't working as well. Not my problem. Go see a doctor or something. You could say I suffer from leaky gut syndrome. Slowly but surely, his eyes light up. You can almost hear the rusty gears turning in his head. Oh, kept me waiting, did you? All right then. Clumsily, he produces a USB stick from his front shirt pocket and holds it before your face. When you reach out to take it, he pulls his hand back and gives you a sly grin. Getting all this data was risky, you know. Miss Montgomery is an unusually secretive person. Digging up dirt on her took more effort than I expected. Effort that should be rewarded, I think. The more you ask around about her, the more you expect a letter saying, give up your inquiries, which are completely useless, at your doorstep. Perhaps attached to a severed cat head. You catch my drift? The secrecy surrounding her screams friends in high places, brave New World Order, Illuminati shit, you know? Makes me think I deserve some hazard pay. Here's a lobster walking by. I kind of want to bluff. He's being creepy. Yeah, he is. Yeah, I don't want to drag this conversation out, so I kind of think just refusing to bluff is going to help shut it down. I ran a background check on you. You're not just some random schmuck off the street. No way you didn't know what you were walking into when you took on this job. And if you really didn't, I doubt you're the kind of journalist who can gather intel on shit. You're bluffing the hell out of it, unsure if it's going to work. It does. The man spits on the ground angrily and raises his hands in surrender. Okay, cool. Alright, I shouldn't have put you on the spot like that. My bad, okay? He extends the hand holding the flash drive towards you again. You take it. Oh yeah, one more thing. Not really sure what it's about, but one of my informants claims you might be interested in this. Sleazy dude. Oh, yeah. He reaches into his inner jacket pocket and presents you with something wholly unexpected. It's a bag of blood simply labeled ABRH. You take a closer look, but that doesn't answer any of the questions that just appeared in your mind. You peek into the journalist's cold blue eyes and see the twitch of control. Don't ask me. They said you'll know what to do with it, make your gut. Come on, take it. Except the blood. Feed out. Okay, I think that we're pretty, we're a little hungry. I would like to feed. I'm just wondering, just looking at him, if he's too old for us right now. Because I'm getting the impression that we only feed on people that are in a certain age range. I'm not sure. And can we drink this blood that he's giving us, though? Can we do both? Can we just feed on him and then take the bag of blood? That'd be cool. Could be poison or something. Yeah. Well, we are alone. I kind of want to do a feeding opportunity. I'm going to drink him because I'm a little hungry and I don't like it. I'll take whatever I want, twitchy eye. He's only conscious long enough to manage one step backward. A second later, your fangs are almost sunk deep into his neck. His blood has a certain unpleasant je ne sais quoi quality to it and a bitter aftertaste, but it's very strong and quickly intoxicating. Okay, cool, so we can't eat his blood. Okay. As you finish your meal, you feel consumed with euphoria. And good, yay, our hunger went away. Thank goodness. Having temporarily satisfied your hunger, you put the collapsed man against the wall, looking over one last time. You found him fishy and trusted your instincts. It might be hard to explain this to Hope, but you don't feel like you've done anything wrong. Every fiber of your vampiric existence screamed that the journalist was absolutely not to be trusted. Funny, even though you felt the man disgusting, he provided you with proper, pleasant sustenance. The victim having blue eyes feels important. Oh! Is he dead? No, he's not dead. Okay, so maybe we like people with blue eyes because that's what our sire had. Our sire had those blue eyes. Maybe that's what it is. The blood bag your victim was carrying fell to the ground during your assault. Oh yeah, pick it up. Yeah, okay, cool. So we can have our cake and eat it too. You casually pick it up and leave the alley where you came. Hope's car appears behind the corner just as you walk out onto the street. It doesn't even fully stop when you approach, but slows down just enough so that you can jump in. The moment you close the door, she leans into the gas pedal with her full strength, causing the engine to roar. Her driving style definitely doesn't reflect how laid back she seems in person. We got it? You throw the flash drive onto the seat next to her. Perfect. Any problems? How did the meeting go? You relate the entire back alley encounter to her. Toward the end of the story, you notice she's not staring at the road or her phone, but directly at your face. The realization startles you. You've got that bag of blood with you? You place it on the seat next to her. She peeks at the label. She looks at it again. Then she steps on the brakes. Fuck! I'm okay. She grabs both the bag and the flash drive you obtained and throws them out the window. Looks like that's your favorite method of taking care of problems. That bag was a message. AB negative used to be my blood type. It's the rarest one, found in less than 1% of the United States population. Glad you didn't drink it. Who knows what they've done to the bag? Okay, so you were right, Andre. You're completely right. They could have, yeah. Glad you didn't drink it. Who knows what they've done to the bag? Some NYC vets can tell you wild stories about using irradiated blood to locate and kill our kindred. Okay, yeah, Boom is right. You admit you did feed on the man who gave you the bag instead. Good for you, I suppose. I don't think they've done anything to his blood. That'll be some kind of 5-dimensional chess move. Okay, cool, yeah, so we didn't compromise anything by feeding off of him. We didn't compromise our relationship with her, so yeah, great choice, awesome. But yeah, this contact is compromised and needs to be cut off. Goodbye, my journalist frenemy, and goodbye, dear at Leaky Guts Syndrome. You've both outlived your usefulness. You did a good job, yes. Good point, Audrey. I was very glad that you brought that up. After a brief period of hesitation, she deletes the whistleblower extraordinaire account and sighs. Another one bites the dust. I've got another story to finish. I was talking about Bitcoin, and then where did I stop? Scanning Constellation in my series. Yeah, she said Constellation, so that's what I'm going to say. Becoming a constellation. Oh, right. You know who saw the real face of this city? Anna Delvey. Ever heard of her? A Russian working-class girl born as Anna Sorokin. She moved to New York in 2013 and convinced everyone that she was this insanely rich trust fund kid, a wealthy German heiress. Manhattan elites totally fell for it, and they bought it for years while she swindled them. She only got arrested in 2017 after having stolen almost $300,000. Sorokin created her Delvey persona out of thin air, convinced everyone that she was going to set up an art fund, and kept tasting all of life's finest pleasures while being basically broke. She even made up a fake family financial advisor, then killed him off when he became a liability. And apparently, most of her rich victims never admitted to being scammed out of shame. By now, you're sure, the way she scrutinizes her surroundings, her reckless driving, she's trying to escape somebody. Now Delvey's locked up with murderers in Rikers, writing her memoirs, and apparently picking a lot of fights. Bless her heart, she'll forever be an inspiration. But I have more advantages than she ever did. I have my own considerable funds, and I can rely on many more made-up people than just an old-ass financial advisor. A whole bunch of fake content creators and influencers that every rich dumbass wants to get in touch with and collaborate. Makes it super easy to earn more money than I invest. You've seen it firsthand, both as a deceiver and a deceived. It's a city of illusions. Make non-existent money, come up with fictional status, play nonsensical Camarilla games. And one day you might just find yourself at the top. All right, we're reaching our last stop. You look around. You're coming up on a parking garage. You're going to take an elevator to the 70th floor. Give the masked man you meet in front of the door this memory card. It contains an art house movie I've made. house movie? I mean, a vampire movie, you made it. Okay, she obviously made it. I'm just gonna ask what she means by art house movie. What do you mean by art house? You've seen me rehearse it in my haven. You know what I mean. You didn't think I was doing that just for show, did you? I found some filthy rich Manhattan pervs who will pay a fortune for a convincing vampire cam show. I don't need money, but their IT industry connections gave me an idea. When we give them this memory card, we'll gain access to tech that should allow us to take on my biggest enemy in the city. So, your nickname this time is going to be... Crash. You're momentarily dazed and can't immediately understand what happened. The first thing you know for sure is if you were still a normal human being, you'd be dead for sure. Shit is right. You replay the last few seconds in your head. The other car appeared out of nowhere and crashed into Hope's vehicle at the maximum speed it was able to achieve in this closed off space. The driver has already managed to kick over the mangled door next to him and stumble out of his seat. Now he wordlessly approaches the truck and takes a large caliber silencing pistol off of it. I mean, we already know a gun isn't gonna hurt us. Because Kaiser's lackey did that, tried to shoot us. He starts approaching the lavender wreck of Hope's car, obviously ready to finish up the job he started. You have to be fast, violent, and so you were him now. Well, yeah, attack him. Because what are we gonna do if we just stand there? Your instincts take over. You don't come up with a strategy or optimal route. You simply start running towards the gun and killing. For a split second, he's completely dumbfounded. Then he opens fire. The bullets put a brief stop to your sprint. You're engulfed in pain, your flesh and clothes being shredded to bits. Oh, yeah, now we've got more hunger again. When his magazine runs out, you're still standing and determined to move forward. I am glad that we ate them, because we need to eat again soon. He tries to act as quickly as possible, but can't reload his weapon before you get a tackle, a primal scream, left punch, right punch, left punch, right punch. Kamikaze hat, bitch, yes. You return this cruelty tenfold to his face. When you're done, his head is barely recognizable as human. You stand above the gunman's body, trying to calm yourself from your killer instincts. That's when you hear her voice. Now eat his soul. Yeah, why don't we just feed on him? I'm already hungry. Hope slithers out of her car and sees you standing over your assailant. Huh. You did pretty good. She approaches the body of the driver you killed and kicks it so she can take a better look at it. Upon seeing the front of the corpse, she lets out an annoyed grunt. Knew it would be this asshole. He's been following us all day, and I know just who he belongs to. Even before she's done talking, she's already trying to reach someone through a video call. Eventually, she succeeds. You see a nonchalant woman in business casual on her smartphone screen. Oh! Kara Montgomery. She was in Shadows of New York as well. She was the person... Okay, yeah. Okay, we'll go... Yeah. I think by now it's pretty obvious that a lot of things from Shadows of New York are carried over. Plot points from this game carried over to Shadows of New York. Kara Montgomery, how may I help you? She looks like trouble. Oh, she is. Kara. Hope, didn't expect you to ever reach me through this channel. Have you thought things through? Wait, did something happen? Did something happen? Your fucking ghoul just tried to kill me, you crazy bitch. That's what fucking happened. Calm yourself, for Christ's sakes, that is a baseless accusation. I know he's from Double Spiral. He's been working at your motherfucking company. Come on, you know I can't be held responsible for the independent actions of my subordinates. Why don't we just meet up and talk it over? Hope disconnects the call and instantly blocks Kara from contacting her. You corporate shithead, you make me sick. Tired, she turns her gaze to the dead ghoul. I'll dispose of him. Help me put him in my car. 30 seconds later, his body is laying in the backseat of the lavender-colored wreck. Okay, good. You take a look at the scene of carnage in front of you. Every second we're here gets us closer to a serious Masquerade violation. I'll have to exchange my Palme d'Or-worthy masterpiece for the goods some other time. She gets behind the wheel and you follow her inside the car. Meet me in my haven when I tell you it's safe. For now, I need to dump this asshole somewhere, get my car fixed, and plan our counterattack. You guide Hope to your own haven. She drops you off, and before she leaves, she makes what's about to come perfectly clear. If we want to survive in this city, Kara Montgomery needs to die. Ooh. She disappears into traffic, and you disappear into your place. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right. So we've already seen Benoit. Let's see, do we want to do Nosy Reporter or Somebody's Watching Me Part 2? So Somebody's Watching Me Part 2, we've established that someone's been following us around. Nosy Reporter, that's a new one. There's a sleazy reporter from a gossip magazine sniffing around Sophie's haven. She could use your help with the problem. Which one do you want to do? Do you want to do take on Sophie's stalker or our stalker? Whichever your heart desires. Okay, let's see what this nosy reporter is, because that's different. Our stalker? Let's kill this bitch. You're in your haven when the intercom rings. Answering cautiously, you hear an older man's voice. Hello, I'm calling because a friend asked me to come by and offer you my services. Who is this? What do you mean services? Who's this friend? Who is this friend? Who is this person? Who's this friend? I better not talk about that on the intercom. Secrets are secrets. The man sounds strangely excited, breathing hard. Is this a sex thing? I need something to go on. You may have the wrong address. I think I'm gonna say I need something to go on. Yes, ask what? Ask if it's a sex thing? Just to make it really awkward? You know what? Sure. For you, Andre, I will do this. Now go on. Okay. You know what? I promise you I will. Yes? Yes, you want it, the sex thing? Okay, for you, Andre, I will do it. I will do it for you. Is this a sex thing? No! Or I mean, not in that way. I know you're one of them. Please, it's all right. I don't mind. You can drink with me. If you understand what I mean. Okay, so it's just a sex thing for him. Okay. Okay. A man you've never seen before is paying a visit to an apartment not many people know of, offering for you to feed from him. This continues face to face. I don't drink with people I've never met. I'm getting freaked out. Woe is right. I kind of want to say I'm getting creeped out because he's being weird and pushy. Do we get money? No, we get blood and he gets to feel euphoric. I'm gonna say I'm getting creeped out because I am getting creeped out. He's being really pushy. That's just strange. It is strange. I'm getting creeped out. I'm so sorry. Don't worry. I mean no harm. Silence. A minute passes and you hear a knock to the door on your haven. You cautiously open the door. What if he's lying? Yeah, I don't know. And he wants to kill you. Oh, if he's human, he won't be able to kill us. A stranger looks at you sheepishly. He's in his 30s, dressed in a clean business suit. He looks moderately successful, someone you could meet at an investment bank. I'm sorry, I didn't want to intrude, so that's why I called you from downstairs. Please leave, come in, dominate, forget all this, and go. I don't want to use our vampire powers because, again, that fight took a bit out of us. So we're going to need to feed again. I don't think his eyes are blue, but I don't know. I'm going to say please leave. I'm not going to invite him inside. Please leave. I don't want to see you around here again. And tell whoever sent you that they can come see me themselves instead of sending lackeys. Please feed for me. It's all right, really. The man sounds desperate. Whatever this is about, you want no part of it. Okay, yeah, we just said we want no part of it. I'm gonna say I'll call the cops. I don't want to be mean right now. Well, I mean, mean, maybe just threatening, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I'll call the cops and you can explain to them why you're creeping around here. It's an empty threat. You wouldn't call the police on your own haven, but you hope he doesn't know that. Oh, please, not the cops. I can't afford to get arrested. The man lets out one last yearning look at you and turns around, running down the hallway. He presses the elevator button nervously and disappears inside. You're left to wonder what this was all about. Who was this guy, and why did he show up trying to offer you his blood? Okay, the sex thing was the wrong answer. Well, I mean, that is kind of what he wanted. We won't do that next time. Okay. Do we want to... Okay, so Andre, do you want to do the reporter? Or do you want to meet Agathon or D'Angelo? Reporter? Okay. Because that's what you want to do. Okay, well, yeah, thank you. The streetlights filter into the apartment in a stark white glow, as if someone were shooting a movie outside. The art pieces display tasteful expense entirely fitting the image you have of Sophie. It feels as if 1,000 sins have been committed on these artists, most of them under natural insensibility. Sophie comes to greet you as you enter the living room, shaking her head. You understand that people will judge me based on how you dress, don't you? Sophie looks at your clothes as if resigned to your sartorial limitations. Take care of myself. I've tried to dress inconspicuously if I have other things to worry about. I'm gonna say I've tried to dress inconspicuously. Because that shows that they put himself at least. I've tried to dress inconspicuously because of the masquerade. That's very sensible. I suppose I should make a move for that. Sophie walks to the window and looks out, streetlights playing on her features. She reminds you of a queen contemplating the unfortunate limitations of her subjects. You'd think that as a vampire, at least we wouldn't have to worry about the vultures of the press. Unfortunately, when you have power and ability, there are always parasites trying to feed on you. Is there a reporter after you? I used to have a journalist friend. I'm going to ask her, because I don't know what we'll say with a journalist friend. What does that give us, and what does that do for her? Is there a reporter after you? Yes, a terribly persistent creature. Sophie steps away from the window and settles down on a sofa, a wine glass with red liquid in it. Blood, treated as not to spoil. You become good at noticing scent, even from a distance. She doesn't offer you any, so you cautiously sit down across from her. The awful man has been stalking my apartment with a camera. He's gone through my trash, talked to the neighbors. Please be a dear and explain to him that there's nothing for him here. Well, we are her errand boy because that's what we have to do, because we have to be loyal to her until she lets us go. Is this about the masquerade? That's a big deal for us, right? Indeed, you're learning. Isn't this dangerous? Isn't this unavoidable? This must happen often. Well, it has to happen often because Sophie's a bit of a socialite. Because in the very first night that we went out with her, she clearly socializes with humans and she clearly draws some attention to herself, so it has to happen often. At least for people like her. This must happen often. How do you usually deal with it? Everyone has their own way. Sometimes the problem goes away with a bit of money or sharp words. Other times, you need something more. Am I in danger? Do I get something out of this? Do you know anything about the order? Well, she does. I mean, she's making this about herself, not us. So I don't think she gives a shit about what we want, frankly. So I'll just say, do you know anything about him? Do you know anything about this reporter? Man, woman, young, old, anything like that? All gossip reporters look the same to me. That's helpful. Time for you to go. I have business to attend to. You leave the apartment as Sophie disappears into another room. You don't have a clear idea of the games she plays with the city's borderline power structures, but she always seems to be making them. Yeah, I mean, that's what you get when you try to get some semblance of normal life or blend into normal society. Sorry, my cat came up and she's begging for food now. Outside on the street, there's a slight warm drizzle that kind of gets under your clothes and makes you want to take a shower when you get back to your own haven. No reporters immediately jump out to you. Yeah, she's my kitty. She's begging for dinner an hour earlier than she's supposed to get it. Has to be in the area, stay put and keep an eye out. Well, let's investigate the area. Let's actually be proactive here. You start with the basics of investigative work. You ask the proprietor of the bodega about the water, almost made sleeping in the nearby doorway, and the doorman opened they've seen anyone strange. Detective work produces results. Get the description of a man who sounds like a reporter. Older, overweight, pasty, and bad physical condition, professional camera. Once you know what you're looking for, it's not difficult. You spot a man who matches the description and follow him. You enter an alley, a dark, dingy space between two tall buildings. Once upon a time, a place like this might have origin, made you think of abundance and violence. Now it's clear the most dangerous thing here is you. The man you are following seems to realize this too. He holds his camera in front of him like a shield, its heavy objective resting on his paunch. With a start, you recognize him. You remember the face, the shaded sunglasses from a picture next to a violin and some trashy paper someone thrust in your face at a company party. His name is Frank Dougherty, and he'd taken pictures of one of your investors feeling up a sex worker at a nightclub. You'd been there too, and the funny thing was, what Dougherty showed in the photo was just the tip of the iceberg. After all, work hard and play hard was the order of the day. Hey, don't go around scaring people like that. I recognize you. I'm a huge fan. Welcome to Knuckletown. So, welcome to Knuckletown. I think that's just us trying to beat him up. I kind of don't want to do that. I also don't want to say I recognize you. I think just saying I'm a huge fan and seeing where that angle goes. Let's see what that does. Wow, you're Frank Dougherty. I'm a huge fan. Love your work. Thank you. It's nice to see one's work appreciated. So report or not, but you're reporting a lot of scoops in this dirty alley. I'm gonna ask the third one. I don't feel like he's gonna be up front if we ask him straight on what he reported right now. Yeah, 3. A lot of scoops here in this dirty alley. You can't be a journalist if you're not willing to get your hands dirty. Do you live here? I'm working on a story about a local resident. Her name is Sophie Langley. Everybody knows her in high society circles. She's a redhead, pretty as a picture, and there were a lot of pictures of her through the years. That's the thing, in fact. Look at this. Frank pulls out his phone and starts showing you pictures. Some have been downloaded from news sites, while others are photos from the Society of Pages of newspapers from past decades. All show Sophie. She has different clothes, hairstyles, makeup, names, but the face remains the same. That's strange. So what do you think is going on? They're all hot. I'm not sure. Is he a stalker of some sort? You know, he's been pretty open since we've been friendly, so I think I'm gonna continue being friendly and curious with the first one. That's strange. So what do you think is going on? Beats me. That's what I'm here to find out. Must have a theory. This must be important. So why does this matter? I'm gonna ask why it matters. I'm not gonna encourage it, but I'm just gonna ask why does it matter? So why does it matter? Maybe it doesn't. But people are always interested in staying young. 3 words: extreme plastic surgery. All the celebrities do it. Only her doctor is better than the rest. You look critically at the photos on Frank's phone. No doctor is that good. They consider the doctor looking for a doctor in the alley. I'm gonna question what he's doing, I think. You think the world's best plastic surgeon is working out in this alley? Okay, fine. I don't know what this is about. So how would you explain it? I know Sophie personally ancient medicines. It's a hoax. I'm gonna say it's a hoax. I'm not gonna, because yeah, it's a hoax. Have you considered the possibility that these pictures are a hoax? Sure, anything can be a hoax, but I dug up those old papers from the archives myself. I got to have something useful. Well, let's do the... yeah, I know we're a bit hungry, but I'm gonna use the vampire power because... I mean, if he's a good reporter, he'll know how to counter a legal argument. And if we threaten him with violence, he's going to, be more interested. Yeah, he didn't do anything bad, no. He didn't do anything illegal. You look Frank in the eyes. They are right behind his shading glasses, veins popping from years of neglect of his body. Suddenly he seems soft, easy to manipulate. As well, nothing but plaster helmet under the boot. Go home and destroy your research on Sophie Langley. As your vampire gaze takes over Frank's mind, he feels less than a person and more like an automaton, a machine you can program. Perhaps this is why older vampires are said to think of humans as mini-humans. How can you consider someone a thinking person with free will when you can override them at any moment? Frank is mumbling, fondling his camera, and inching around you to the entrance of the gallery. He looks sad and worn as he goes. A man who used to be something, not just a shell. It feels almost embarrassing to use the powers of your Lord on someone so weak. At least you're pretty sure he'll stay away. The hunger calls to you. Yeah, we need to feed soon. That fight took something out of us. I'm so mad because we did so well. We fed on that first guy, and the city's skyscrapers, the seemingly never-ending sprawl of the boroughs, it's all a prison. You need to get out. You need to take back control over your life this instant. The memory of your sire's frosty blue eyes mocks you, tempts you to show your dominance, to prove you have the guts to take what you want. Feeding, that's just the thing. Coaxing, no. Ordering a mortal to bend to your will, drinking deep from their lifeblood. Faces pass you by. While some look more ravishing than others, any would do right now. You compose yourself, your rational mind fearing a blatant breach of the Masquerade's temporary hold over the beast and its compulsions. Calming yourself is a small victory in and of itself. This semblance of command will have to do for now, but it won't last. You need to quench this hunger before it overtakes you and makes you lose control. Yeah. Yeah, we need to feed. Okay, I think we have time for one more. I'm not going to do Agathon's just because I feel like with Agathon, he doesn't appreciate distractions. Benoit, I don't think there's going to be any feeding opportunities with him. Kara is another vampire. I don't think we'll have that opportunity. So let's go check out D'Angelo and see what else he has to do, because D'Angelo didn't get upset when we fed on someone last time. Okay, this one is called Strange Bedfellows. As you leave your haven, a homeless man bumps into you. You turn after him, but he blends into the crowd before you can even get a good look at his face. Instinctively, you check your pocket. A note? Look at Manhattan Bridge. Come over. D. Knowing there are only so many places with a good enough view of Manhattan Bridge, you decide to check the ones that aren't likely to be crowded at this time of night. It doesn't take long before you hit the jackpot. Jane's Carousel. As you're walking along the pier, you notice a lonely figure sitting on the bench, a steel flask in hand, his legs up on the railing. Soon enough, you hear a familiar voice. Evening turned to night, and as the final flickering rays of sunlight gave way to the kind nocturnal shadows, so did the last of the jabbering tourists give way to blessed silence. Yet, I couldn't shake the feeling. Pausing mid-sentence, he leans back over the bench backrest and looks straight at you. Upside down, his face looks even creepier than usual. But I wasn't alone. What is it with you narrating what's in the class? So, here's the thing. In Shadows of New York, Kadir said that D'Angelo narrates to, it's a coping mechanism for him. But he never felt comfortable asking about it. I feel like he's saying it out loud, though, and he's talking directly to us, so we can ask at this point. But I don't want to be rude because I do like the animal. I find it very endearing. Deep conversation time? Okay, you think we can ask? I'll ask. I have to ask. What is it with you and narrating? It takes the edge off. Just like this. He takes a sip, then points the flask in the general direction. Fancy a sip? Oh, cool! Feeding opportunity. Yeah, let's do it. Sure, why not? You smell the contents of the flask and immediately recoil. Even if it wasn't for the nasty whiff of cheap booze, the underlying scent of the blood isn't appetizing at all. You know what? I'll pass. You won't hear me complaining. Not about that, anyway. Damn. There's been another one, killing at me, down by the docks. No, I'll just ask him. Same level, blood, the graffiti. Yep, this is our gal, all right. Victim sucked dry, same as before. Another sign on the wall. Something like something to do. Oh God, he coming. The particulars escape me. You know, the night I saw her, she looked so frail, so innocent. Deep inside, I was hoping she'd be spooked to get out of town. Maybe, just maybe, that'd be it. That's me, you know, hopelessly optimistic. You know why she's doing it, so what's the point? I'm gonna ask her why she's doing it, because I feel like that's going to go into what's the plan as well. Oh, Selena, you want to say hello? I know, baby. Any idea why she's doing it? Doesn't really matter at this point. She's like, no, don't grab me. Just feed me dinner. Whether she's Kane's chosen or just a poor girl gone nuts after a botched embrace, one thing is painfully clear. He gives you a look full of worry and sadness. She ain't gonna stop. He takes a swig as if to punctuate the sentence. So anyway, I've set up a meeting, neutral ground, public space. Shouldn't get totally, still, I was hoping you could tag along. I'm gonna ask, because it's probably gonna be Larson at this point. Is it Larson again? Nah, let's leave the poor schmuck alone for now. It's pretty clear he's just as clueless as we are. He looks right past the bench next to where he's sitting. You might want to sit for this one. Can't be that bad. I'm meeting your parents. Just fucking tell me. I'll say it can't be that bad. Come on, it can't be that bad. We're meeting. Valerie. I'm sorry, I must have misheard you. That murderous bitch from last time better put down the flask. Sorry, let's do this first. I'm gonna say it first. I'm sorry, I must have misheard you. Wanna try that again? Valerie. Okay, so Valerie, we met her, last week. She is a scourge, which essentially means that she is an enforcer, she's an assassin, and she is just basically out. She's a vampire killer. She's a vampire killer, if that makes sense. I know how that sounds. Listen, kid, I know you two didn't exactly hit it off, but she's not as bad as you might think. She sounds badass. I mean, yeah, we'll see. I don't know if I would call her badass yet. I mean, in some respects, she's probably worse, but she can be reasoned with. Once again, he goes for the flask, but stops himself mid-motion. Look, the way I see it, we ain't got a choice. As much as I want to help Santa, she's clearly a few bats short of the belfry. More people are going to die unless we do something about it. Get it, lesser of two evils. I still don't like anything about it. Can you trust it? I mean, yeah, it is the lesser of two evils. Alright, fine. I get it. Lesser of two evils. Lead the way, then. I like your attitude, kid. Okay, there we go. I know it sucks, but hey, if there's one thing life has taught me, you don't always get what you want. Noticeably proud of his words of wisdom, he tries to top him off with one last swig. A single drop falls between his crooked teeth. He looks at the empty flask with the utmost contempt. Well, ain't that fucking poignant. Muttering a curse under his breath, he makes a valiant effort to get up off the bench. As he staggers, struggling to remain upright, you offer your shoulder to lean on. Aw, he's our friend! We're friends now! He shoots you a smile that's as crooked as it is affectionate. Hey, kid. You meet his gaze, trying to look friendly rather than condescending. You're all right. Aww, he's our friend. No, he's not going to confess our love for us. Don't be ridiculous. And with that heartfelt moment, you bid adieu to the sprawling vista and make your way towards the bridge. Next stop, Manhattan. Please let there be a runner or something we can feed on. He does seem nice. He is nice. He's a good person. He's just, you know, a Nosferatu, so his appearance is a little off-putting, that's all. But he's a good person. Entering the park from Midtown Manhattan, you'd probably take a spot by one of the alleys not very deep into the park. Minutes pass. 5, 10, 15. You start to wonder if she's even going to show up. Suddenly, you hear a familiar voice, but with an unfamiliar tone. She sounds almost nice. Hello, Ginny. And there she is, walking along the side of the fountain. She looks less out of place here than back at that junkie-infested hovel, but only by a slight margin. Something tells you there are only so many places she would feel at home, and probably not ones that you would want to find yourself in. Val. She glances over at you, barely noticing your presence. Sorry about last time. Nothing personal, you understand. When I get caught up in the moment, I can get a bit intense. I can attest to that. Get a room, you two. You're late. Let's get down to business. All of these feel a little snarky. I don't want to be rude to her because she's being polite to us, and he, you know, clearly trusts her enough. 3? Yeah. Play nice, you two. We have some business to discuss. All work and no play, huh? Why not? She turns to D'Angelo and flutters her eyelashes. You can tell she doesn't see you as her equal, but this come hither routine is getting kind of unnerving. Lay it on me, sugar. It's about Santa, we have a proposition for you. Wow. Let me think. Do we want to say it's about Santa or we have a proposition? I feel like saying it's about Santa, that makes her seem a bit more like a person, and that's going to strike a bit of a balance between what we're going to say with her versus, yeah, Santa, yeah. We're here to talk about Santa. Oh, right, the thin blood. What about her? The girl's a threat. We need to find her. Figured we can do it faster if we work together. Uh-huh. Keep going, honey, because I have a feeling there's a catch coming. The catch is... Awkward silence. It's not often you see him at a loss for words. Seeing him struggle, you decide to jump in. We want her alive, don't be a murderous bitch. I'm gonna say we want her alive, because I'm not gonna call her a bitch to her face. We want the girl to stay alive. See, now that's a deal breaker right there, sugar. If you want me to even consider it, you have to sweeten the pot. Once again, she turns to D'Angelo. I bet tall, dark, and handsome over here might have some ideas. Like, this is go. You want a cookie? Just tell us what you want. I'm gonna say just tell us what you want. Just tell us what you want. Oh, you're no fun anymore. She wants a higher profile target to show off to the prince what a good little skirt she is. That's all you care about nowadays, huh? Playing the game, climbing the ranks. A smile creeps onto her lips. You can tell it's forced. D'Angelo definitely knows how to get under her skin. That's my Ginny, a big old brain and a heart to match. Once again, she turns to you. I knew right away he'd try to help this girl. He does love him a damsel in distress. But you? I'm not sure what your angle is. It's the right thing to do, same as you admit. Do you care? I kind of want to say either the first one or the second or the third one. What do you care? I don't want to be too honest with her is the thing. 3, yeah. What do you care? I don't, honey. Not really. It's called making conversation. So there. You know my terms. Contact me when you've made up your mind. Don't take too long, though. I'm a lucky girl. I might just find your little thin blood on my own. Still, I hope we can work together. We did make a good team back in the day, didn't we? Slowly, seductively, she puts her arms around his shoulders. She glances over to you, clearly enjoying how awkward it makes you feel. I was just getting creepy. Do you have some explaining to do? I'm gonna say the third one because I mean, again, it's D'Angelo's got a personality, and you know what? When you live for a very long time, you know you gotta pay attention to more than just looks. I'm not gonna say it's creepy. D, once this meeting is over, you'll have some explaining to do. You hear that, Ginny? You're in some hot water now. Anyway. Withdrawing from the strange half-embrace, she flicks D'Angelo's nose gently with her index finger. Almost instantly, she turns from flirtatious to dispassionate. However this plays out, I have a feeling we'll meet again, sooner rather than later. Until then. Without sparing you another glance, she disappears down an unlit alley. D'Angelo watches her go. The look on his face, a mixture of longing and guilt, is borderline comical. Oh gosh. Finally, he turns back towards you, as if breaking some spell he was under. See, it's not his love for us that he's going to profess, it's his love for Valerie. Well, that could have gone a lot worse. It just happened, a higher profile target for you guys, I think. I don't know what to say. I want to ask all 3 of these questions. Me to ask if they are a thing, yeah. Okay, I have to ask. Did you and she ever... Nope, not going there. Val and I, we got some history. Some of it good, some of it bad. Let's leave it at that. And kid, don't be fooled. Val likes to play around, but she will rip your fucking guts out and stuff up your ass if it means she can get what she wants. And right now, she wants me to give her horse. Yeah, how is he involved? Because he's the primate. Wait, what does Larson have to do with any of this? He doesn't, not directly. It's just like he might have some less than admirable chapters in his biography. Might have done some pretty egregious shit. And Valerie knows a certain handsome someone might have evidence of said shit. Which would allow her to bring him down. And bringing down a primogen, even one as lame as Larson, is a pretty big deal. He squints, rubbing the bridge of his nose. Fuck it, I'm heading back to the office. Need to put my feet up, get some blood flowing to the old noggin. Coming? You nod. Why the hell not? And so you make your way towards 5th Avenue. You've got a long way ahead of you and a lot of stuff to figure out. Although it's not your first visit, you still find it hard to navigate the dark, rust-ridden corners of the grain terminal. Luckily this time you're with someone who could probably do this blindfolded, so you just follow his lead. As you're both climbing the rickety stairs leading to the mezzanine, you suddenly notice light coming from D'Angelo's office. A quick look assures you that no, he did not in fact leave it on. You bust through the door like undead Tango and Hooch, or was that Turner and Cash? Ready to unleash unholy fury on the intruders, you half expected Anarch Death Squad or SI hunting party. Instead, you get Larson, who nearly falls out of his chair when you two bust in. What are you doing here, Mistus, already? What are you doing here? Larson, what the hell are you doing here? What does it look like I'm doing? I'm waiting for you two bozos to show up. Seemingly both intrigued and irritated by the surprise visit, D'Angelo walks over to a cabinet and pulls out a fresh cigar. And now that the clowns have arrived, does His Highness mind telling us what brings him to our merry circus tent? Her. He points at a tiny shadow cowering in the corner of the room. To your astonishment, it turns out to be a very familiar face. Reply. And again, please. I'm gonna ask. I don't care where she was. She's here now. Did she tell you anything? She just keeps babbling about blood and signs and all this nonsense. She came to my house, probably figured out who I was, thought I could help her. But honestly, I have no idea what to do with her. I mean, I should turn her into the prince, but that's just another strike against my people. Then again, I can't just set her loose, not after what she did. Fuck, D'Angelo, you can tell that I'm desperate if my first instinct was to come to you. No, Larson, I would attribute that decision to what's left of your common sense. He leans over to you. Hey, kid, I think we should call it a night. Just give me some time to talk to the girl. Maybe I'll get through to her somehow. Sign the sign, it's always there. Though I ain't holding my breath. Honestly, Obviously, you're glad to leave him to it. Spending the night in a small room with a tiny serial killer somehow doesn't seem too appealing. Still, you're hoping D'Angelo will be alright. He's got some tough choices ahead of him. And another warning about the hunger. I get it. I'm hungry. I need to feed. Alright. But with that, let's call it a day. Hopefully, once we run into these, do some more of our missions next week, we'll get a feeding opportunity. But thank you for joining me here on this stream. I hope you all had fun, because I always have fun here with you, playing this through with you. But yeah, I hope you guys have fun. I will thank you. Thank you for a great stream. Yeah, it was a blast. I do like playing these games. I'm really excited to do Shadows of New York once we're done with it. But yeah, I always have fun playing these games with you. I love the writing for these games. I think that they're very fun. I think that, you know, the characters are always fun and interesting, and it's a nice way to shake things up. But yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday, and I will see you guys next week.